Okay, so as we are graphing these exponential functions, we also have to be able to identify key parts of the graph, right? So really the two things that we're going to focus on today is the y-intercept and identifying whether something's a growth or decay. Now, we have already talked about the y-intercept when we talked about linear functions. Remember, it is where your graph crosses the y-axis. So if I have something like this, y equals 3, 4, and then remember you have the option to press this button right here if you want to the power of x, okay, or if you want to, you can press Shift 6. So once I have it here, so as I'm looking at my graph, if it is increasing, if it is going up, we know that that is going to be a growth. Now, the other thing that's going to decide if it's a growth just by looking at this is if this number right here is greater than 1. Okay, so if this number is greater than 1, we know it's going to be growth. We know it's going to be going up. Okay. Now, as far as my y-intercept goes, so if I zoom in, remember if I click on it, it's going to go ahead and tell me, right? So here's my y-axis. So my y-intercept in this case is going to be 0, 3. And you guys notice that I also have a 3 right here. So this number in front of my 4 to the power of x is going to be my y-intercept. Okay, but again, we're able to graph that and double check that. Okay, so on the second one, so right off the bat, just by looking at the equation, okay, the number in the very, very front, okay, not the one with x, but in front of it is 2. So that's going to tell me that my y-intercept should be 0, 2, and we're going to graph it and check it. Now, this inside number right here, okay, this number is less than 1. Okay, so if it's less than 1, it should be a decay. What that means is I expect to see my graph look something like this. Okay, now again, we're going to use Desmos to check. So we're going to go ahead and graph y is equal to 2 in parentheses 1/2. You want to make sure, guys, that when you're down here, you go ahead and press the arrow key to the right. If you don't, it's going to keep, notice it's going to put that x down at the bottom, and we don't want that. Okay, so you're going to press it over to the power of x. Okay, so notice again, looking at my graph, it is going down. It is a decay, just like we predicted. And then my y-intercept is 0, 2, again, just like we predicted. So you guys are going to practice being able to graph and identify some key parts. Now, guys, be careful. Don't just, again, always use Desmos to check, because if you make a mistake right here, you're going to be able to visually see it on the graph. So we always want to make sure we're using Desmos to check it when we're graphing.